Hello everybody and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts and welcome back to another Taskmaster challenge. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and as always my competitors are Stealth 17 Gaming, History Guy Gaming, Brother Monroe, Everyday's Different, and the Serious Strategy Gamer. This week we have a team challenge. It is a two-team challenge with 3 players each. My team is going to be Stealth and Brother Monroe, and we have to design one battleship each. With a catch. Stealth is going to be building a battleship for speed. I will be building a battleship for firepower. And Brother Monroe will be building a battleship for armor. Now, because we chose firepower, we are going to be having to design a ship with at least 18 15-inch or larger main batteries. That is the minimum requirement. And we have to have a maximum tonnage of no more than 85,000 tons. Okay? Now, we're going to be up against the United States. It's 1940 tech, 2 battleships, 2 battlecruisers, 3 heavy cruisers, 3 destroyers. And the destroyers are worth, let me double check, 3 points each. The cruiser armoreds are 7 points each. The battlecruisers are 10 points each. And the battleships are 20 points each. Now, we need to get into this, and we actually goof up. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Something happened to my recording that I have no idea why. Like, all of my audio disappeared. So, this is the gameplay, but I'm going to be doing after-action commentary. I have no idea why my mic suddenly changed. I have no idea why my headset capture suddenly changed. I have not changed any of the settings ever since I started them, and for whatever reason, they just stopped working. They worked fine with the stream with Hive earlier, and now all of a sudden they just didn't work for this. So I have no idea what's going on there. So I do apologize. This is going to be without sound with the exception of me. Now, we are allowed to turn on all hulls. I chose Japan, but we are going to go with a Richelieu hull here. And we are going to take the best that we can of everything, and then we're going to try to force feed ourselves some good old-fashioned firepower. Hence the name, right? So, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not an easy challenge. It sounds like it's a pretty easy challenge, right? You just get to put all the guns that you want on it, right? But 85,000 tons really does limit our firepower potential. And so I had to get creative on this one. I ended up getting all of the best that I could. I went with turtleback armor because I plan on getting close. We are going to use increased ammo on this, and we are definitely going to be using our tube powder because I love that. And then we're going to go with advanced hydraulic, and that's it there. We want to go with a coincidence rangefinder rather than the stereoscopic because we're going to be getting close, and we want that extra gun aiming speed and base accuracy. So go ahead and grab that coincidence rangefinder there, Spartan. Hello? Hello? Spartan? There you go. Good job. He decided. And then we're going to take the best sonar we can get because we anticipate lots of torpedoes. And we're going to grab Gen 2 radar. Now, we have to design the ship now, right? We've gotten the basics all down. Let's go ahead and grab our superstructure, our main command area. We're going to go with the secondary tower as well. Try to get the best of both worlds here. We're going to move it forward just a hair. Grab the secondary tower again. There, we can squeeze it in there. Perfect. All right. Now the fun part. Put a funnel on here. Shouldn't be too hard to get maximum. And as you can see, we actually do have 100% engine efficiency down there, which is to be expected considering we're not the fastest thing in the world. But we're going to go with 16-inch guns, and we're going with quad turrets because we need to have at least 18 main guns, right? That's the challenge. So we got to squeeze as many guns on here as we can get. And so we go with the quad turrets. We get 2 centerline turrets, and then we're going to go with 2 wing turrets of the 16-inch quad variety. And we want to get these as far back as possible and still keep them on the ship. So there we go. And now, of course, we have to rotate. I really wish it would actually mirror instead of just putting it whichever way it wants. Like, that's really annoying. That's something they should work on. But you see we're trying to toy. There we finally get it into position. And now we want to run the front turret back a little bit to kind of help with that weight offset. We're down to a 4.5% weight offset. We got to bring it back forward a little bit here because we're brushing up against the wing turrets. There we get enough room, and that's perfect. Now, right now we have a 4.8% 4-weight offset. So we're going to try to counter that by putting well, we need 2 more guns anyway. So we're going to go to main guns, center line guns. We're going to go with 15-inch because it's the minimum, and 2 barrels, which is the minimum to complete the challenge. We have 16 over the nose, and we have 2 at the rear. So that's 18 main guns. We're also going to throw some 8-inch triple barrel secondaries on this bad boy and put them towards the rear. Now that gives us a 0.2% aft weight offset, which is basically nothing. Like, it's 0.2%. It's not really going to be that big of a detriment to the ship. So we are going to drop our speed down, however, to, I believe, 23 knots. And we're going to be able to slap some armor on this thing. Again, I like to close the distance, and we want some protection. Also, I have an affinity for taking torpedoes, so we want to try to minimize that as much as we can with the... We've got great torp protection, but we also want the belt armor to withstand those torps as well. We get 14 inches of belt. We go ahead and take the belt extended up as far as we can here. We get 8 inches, but not a millimeter over 8 inches. I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You went from standard to metric there, dummy, or imperial to metric. But you can see we can get a little bit on the conning tower, so we do manage to take the conning tower up to 12.9 inches, which will help us a little bit, hopefully. Now, that's about the best that we can do, guys. We are right at 85,000 tons. Of 85,000 tons, we're going to name the ship Fuji after our trivia question today in World of Warships Legends video. If you haven't seen that yet, make sure you guys check that out. Our trivia question was, what is the largest or the tallest mountain in Japan? And that is Mount Fuji. It is also a volcano. Did you guys know that? If you didn't, now you know. Anyway, we're getting ready to get into the meat and potatoes of this challenge. And right off the bat, we're sailing away, so we got to turn this thing in. We're going to turn in as hard as we can. We're going to drop down to our cruise speed, try to get that bonus working for us. And we got pretty lucky on this with the weather and everything. It's not too bad. The debuffs aren't real bad, so we're going to have relatively decent accuracy, hopefully. Now, we look at these ships, and right off the bat, these look like American battleships. What's going on here? Like, there's nothing that really stands out with the battleships that make me go, oh my god, you know? So, turns out these do actually have 16-inch guns, and the battle cruisers, which we're looking at right now, have 15-inch guns. They have lots of secondaries, but not a whole lot of torpedoes, thank goodness. Now, the bad news is, all of the ships that are triples, so we have 3 heavy cruisers, they have quintuple launchers off of either side, and the destroyers have quintuple launchers. So we have a lot of torpedoes in here. If each ship has the ability to carry, well, the heavy cruisers will have 20 torpedoes each, and the destroyers will have 10 torpedoes each. So 20 times 3 is 60, and 10 times 3 is 30, so we've got 90 torpedoes against us in this match. And right off the bat, we get a big hit already. We ain't even got turned in yet. But we are going to get turned in, and when we do, we are going to absolutely put it to these guys. Now, again, I apologize. I don't know why OBS sometimes resets certain settings. Doesn't make any sense. I've used those settings for God knows how long. I have not changed them. I don't know why it suddenly decided to change while I was recording. Because I went straight from Hive Stream into this, and it worked just fine during Hive Stream. I don't know why it suddenly decided not to all of a sudden. But the good news is, I hope you guys don't hold that against me too much. I try, guys. I really do. I try to make sure everything is kosher every time. Unfortunately, we can't go back and re-record on the Taskmaster challenge videos because it is supposed to be a one-off video, okay? It is not supposed to be something you keep retrying over and over again until you do it right. So, even when we screw up the audio and stuff like that, we have to take it. Okay, that's the rules. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to stick with it. But I think it actually is going to end pretty well. We're going to push in right off the bat, get this bow in, and these guys are going to struggle to pin us with 16-inch guns and 15-inch guns. Now, again, there's a lot of torpedoes. We got to keep an eye out for the torpedoes. Now, we're at ×5 speed early on, because we're going to have to try not to get into too much trouble, but we want to get this thing turned quickly, and then as soon as we start to actually approach these guys, where we got to start worrying about torpedoes will knock that speed down a little bit so that we can actually see what we're up against. Now, we don't have them quite yet, what do you call it, identified, so we don't know what they're carrying exactly, but after receiving hits from 15-inch guns and 12 or 16-inch guns, we know what they pretty much have. Now, these guys are running into one another. I've heard of line-ahead formations before, but that's a bit ridiculous, if you ask me. But, yeah, we're going to keep trying to turn in. They're going from right to left, so we want to kind of head them off. We want to close the gap as quickly as possible. We're not the fastest ship in the world, so we need to make sure that we're angling to a point where they're running into us as well as us closing, so that we can close the distance as quickly as possible, because at the end of the day, we want to get rid of these guys. Now, we actually managed to hit the heavy cruiser early on when we were shooting at a battleship, which is what I call preferable. And after noticing, I go ahead and swap targets. I'm like, all right, let's just finish this man off. I mean, that's a heavy cruiser. That's a torp threat. Let's get rid of him. I mean, that's literally 20 torpedoes off the board right there if I can kill that heavy cruiser early. So you can see torpedoes are kind of a big deal against me because I tend to rush straight at them. Especially with these newfound wing turret designs that I've been doing the last few weeks. They are really, really working out for me, and I feel like we've done pretty well in these challenges the last couple weeks. So, I wish we didn't have to go with the quad turrets because we'd have been even more accurate in this fight, but I'll take it. You know, at the end of the day, it is a meme ship. We're trying to go for the maximum firepower, so quad turrets seems like the right way to go. I don't think we would have been able to as efficiently stack as many guns as we did over the bow and still maintain good firing angles, where we do with our current design, somehow. I don't know how it works, but it says that they can all fire, so I'm taking their word for it. Now, obviously, we've got some torpedoes being launched at us potentially, so now we're back. We should be getting ready to back the speed down a little bit so that we can start to potentially dodge torpedoes if needed. This ship is a long ship for its hull design, so it's not the best at turning. However, it's not horrendous, and there you see the torpedoes coming in. Those ones aren't a threat, but you can see immediately turning it down to 2 times. I just want to double check. There was a wandering torpedo off to our left. You can see scrutiny across the bow right about now. And the second set of torpedoes, it looks a little bit worse, but at the same time, we should be good. We're going to try to suck in the rear, see if we can get that rear out of the way so that we don't take a torp unnecessarily. And after we scoot away, we know we're clear. We're going to go ahead and aim towards the enemy. And once again, just torpedo swarm after torpedo swarm. Now, this one, I think we're going to take a torp. I think. But we're going to do our best to try to avoid it. You can see there's a cluster of torpedoes directly off the bow. We're going to try to turn in. But again, this ship doesn't turn very well. And we are heading directly for those torpedoes. But if we can only take one, that would be preferable. And if we take it in the bow, it'll cause some flooding, but hopefully won't do any internal damage too much. And sure enough, we take the flooding damage. It does some serious damage, 108 damage overall. But other than that, we get away relatively unscathed. We can deal with the flooding. We can deal with a little bit of damage on the bow. We're pointing the bow at the bad guys anyway. And we absolutely smashed that armored cruiser over there. He's got very little floatability left. Some would call it buoyancy. So, yeah, I don't know why they don't call it buoyancy. They just call it float. It's float. But we're going to try to take them out. And more torpedoes being crapped out at us. This is what I was worried about, guys. This was all the torpedoes that I was worried about. Like, we knew how many torpedoes that they potentially had. And right off the bat, like, they are launching them all at us, trying to get us out of here. Now, I'm hoping that we can stay avoiding these torpedoes for the most part. You can see one on the left, one on the right. Like, these things are coming in at wide spreads, thank God. And so we're able to avoid them for the most part. We have taken some damage, but overall we're doing pretty good. If we can get this cruiser off the board, we'll be pretty happy. And we did manage, I believe, to hit this cruiser again and cause some flooding. He is starting to go down. His buoyancy is definitely lacking as we get some more shots here at that armored cruiser and aren't able to hit him like that. Those shots were so far over him, it's like they were shooting at the battleships in the back. I don't know what they were shooting at. But the good news is the enemy has really kind of thrown everything at me early, trying to get all these torpedoes on me as quickly as possible and get rid of me, which was a good strategy, but poorly executed. Because now all of their torpedo boats are in absolute death range of me. Like, this is the kind of range that you do not want to find yourself in. Especially when you have 16-inch guns over the bow. Now you can see more torpedoes coming in. It looks like we're going to potentially take another torp on the bow here. We're trying to turn out, squeeze in the gap between the torpedoes. And it looks like we might pull it off. We do manage to sink Tulsa, so that's good. And now that we're out of the way, we're going to try to tuck in that rear again. Make sure we slip in the gap between the torps and get away from it. Now, automatically, I'm like, okay, these guys are really close. They're 7.5 kilometers. We've got to be able to hit them from this range. There's no way that we don't hit these guys at this range, right? So that's the goal. And remember, we have the coincidence rangefinder, so we have a buff to quick firing. And we absolutely make the most of that first shot. Smashing him. Flooding right off the bat. He's going to go ahead and go down, I believe. And down he goes. So one shot, one kill. That's the way I like it. We've already got a cruiser armored out of the fight. We've got a destroyer out of the fight. That's a lot of torpedoes already gone. And it only gets better from here, right? We're going to go ahead and target the other destroyer. Again, he's getting ready to load his torps, so we want to try to get rid of him before he gets those torps loaded if we can. We want to definitely try to get rid of him. And those shots look absolutely juicy, but just miss. A little bit long. Unfortunate. Now, it's at this point, I'm kind of, regretting not having our secondaries closer to the bow so that they would have a better firing angle on these destroyers. But at the same time, they are still firing at them. Just not accurately, unfortunately. And you can see I was looking at the battleships and stuff, trying to figure out who I need to angle against. But my main concern right now is getting rid of these torps. I need to get rid of as many of these torps as possible. You can see he's over halfway reloaded on his torpedoes. We definitely don't want that to be a thing. And the first salvo was bad. The second follow-up shot, definitely a hit. 300 damage, just absolutely smashing that destroyer. That's going to slow him down a little bit. It didn't knock out his engine, and it didn't flood him somehow. But the good news is we did do considerable damage to him, and that's going to affect how he's able to do things. And so we're going to try to follow up our shot. We're about 3/4 of the way loaded at this point with the main batteries. And I believe the next shot is going to be absolutely disgusting, because this guy is basically dead in the water at this point. He is moving, but he's not moving very fast. And this shot is pretty nice, but it just misses all the way around the ship. That's what we call bracketing, folks. Now, I go ahead and speed up time a little bit here, because at this point, I just want this game to be over. I don't want to dilly-dally around, I don't want to waste anybody's time. And I'm fairly confident in my ability to get rid of this destroyer before he launches more torpedoes. So I'm not real worried about having to dodge his torpedoes. Now, we do have the 2 cruiser armoreds out on my left that I got to worry about, and that shot was nasty. That had bad intentions written all over it, and that's going to do it for that destroyer. Down he goes. So 2 of the 3 destroyers are down. 1 of them remains. And you can see him right out there by the battleships. We've got 2 battle cruisers still out here. We got 2 cruiser armoreds out here. And we're going to go ahead and target those cruiser armoreds and try to get them off the board if we can. I lied. We're still firing at the battleships and the destroyer. I believe we're targeting the destroyer here. Again, trying to remove the torp threats if we can. We are heading straight for these battleships, and they're getting really close. And remember, the battleships are crossing the T, trying to maximize their firepower against the enemy, which is, in this case, me. So we got to try to... normally, this would be a bad strategy for me, because I wouldn't be able to get all my firepower on them, and they could maximize their firepower on me. However, with all of our guns over the bow, these guys are in a whole world of trouble when we start shooting at them, and you'll see that in a little bit. It's fantastic, I promise. You won't be disappointed. It's very difficult to shoot these little ships in this game, but our ship's doing a pretty good job so far. Now, he just used his smoke, which is why we missed that shot, unfortunately. But even though I don't think the smoke would make a dang bit of difference when we have radar going and he's at this close a range, like, this should be a pot shot. It's like, don't even lead the target. Just shoot straight at him at this point. We do get some torpedoes coming in from the left, and that's not what I wanted to see. We're going to turn in, try to get in between those torps, but remember, we don't turn very well. But we don't need to turn a lot. We just need to turn enough. And that's a pretty large gap for us to slip between. So we do a pretty good job here getting in between those torpedoes. However, it does appear that we're going to run right into another torpedo. Now, we try to turn out. We want to take this torp right on the thickest part of our armor, which is at the midship. And it does very little damage to us. It actually does basically nothing to us. It doesn't damage any internal components, and we managed to get away with only taking 33 actual damage from it. So that was kind of perfect scenario. If you're going to take the torp, take it on your torp protection. You know what I mean? That's what it's there for. Now, back to the destroyer here. This guy has lived far too long on the edge of destruction. And I think his time has run out as he just gets absolutely smashed. And his buoyancy is going down rapidly. You can see I'm still kind of checking out the cruisers. I don't want to give them my broadside, but at the same time, these battleships are looking way too juicy, and I'm already looking forward to my next target. Now, obviously, the destroyer's not gone yet, so we're going to start bow tanking these battleships a little bit more, trying to narrow out the angle, make sure that they're not, and we just smashed that guy again. Just absolutely punched him right through his ship, just ripped him apart, and yeah, he's not long for this world. The question now becomes, are we going to sink him from flooding or structural damage? Because he's losing both at this point. You can see I'm looking at him to see if they've launched torpedoes. And so I feel like I'm pretty comfortable sitting here at the moment. And we get another massive hit, more flooding on him. Just absolutely ripping him apart. I believe that is it for him. But I say that, he's not done pumping the water out yet. He's at 17% and holding. So we're going to have to hit him again. But it's okay. We got plenty of rounds for this. That's why we brought extras. Come on, Fuji. Finish him. Quit playing with your food. And we get another massive hit, another flood. That's got to do it. There's no way he pumps that out. Down he goes. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, folks. The main event of the evening. Battleships crossing the T versus a ship that has all of the firepower over the nose. This is going to be glorious. I promise. Wait for it. Shot out and pow! 600 damage, multiple floods, just absolutely obliterated him. Took a third of his hit points right there and also started flooding him. They can't do a whole lot to us. Look at this. This is a South Dakota class, too. That's the best part. It's got 16-inch guns. It's called South Dakota. This is great. I love it. I love it. It's too realistic. But he's broadside on, and we all know how that ends for American battleships in World of Warships Legends. It's going to hurt a lot. And he gets hit for 3 more new floods and just gets smashed with the structure as well. So he is rapidly losing buoyancy at this point. We're getting the guns loaded very quickly, it seems like, at this point. And every hit that we shoot at, or every time we reload, we are absolutely decimating this man. His buoyancy's still dropping, and we get even more floods, even more fires, and even more penetrations with another 700 damage. And that is going to do it for this South Dakota. He is not coming back from this. He is done. Dunsy. That's it. Going to the bottom. Go home. But he does so right as we get loaded, and we send our next shot at the other battleship, who is also broadside on, and it's not faring him any better than it did his sister ship, who just got obliterated. Vermont also being broadside, getting multiple floods in the very first salvo. This guy is absolutely getting wrecked. Absolutely. It's so much fun to see this happen, too. I'm not going to lie. Like, when you've pushed this hard to get into position, you've had to dodge all of these torpedoes, it becomes really nice when you can absolutely murder the enemy like this. This feels real good. Now, I'm not going to lie. I didn't realize this guy was as close to sinking as he was. It's kind of hilarious. I don't know what happens, but, like, You see where he's at now. He was like at half of his buoyancy, and it's dropping, but not dropping super, super fast. Watch this next salvo. We hit him. He's getting flooding on us too, by the way. But we hit him so hard that when we go to look at him again here, watch. We go to look at him, and he just sinks at some point. Hello, Spartan? I'm pretty sure I look at him, and like as soon as I look at him, he sinks. Come on. Don't make me out to be a liar now. Okay, clearly I'm a liar. But he gets smashed again, and that is going to do it for him. He has no chance. Okay, so yeah, he actually had a lot less than I realized. But at the time, I didn't think like I was sinking him that quick. But he went down like a rock, man. And now we've got a battlecruiser out here doing the exact same thing that these battleships were doing. And you guys already know how this is going to go. Mr. Or is it Constellation? I think it is. I think it's Constellation out there. Broadside on, begging for it. And we're going to give it to him as we get a flood on him already. And that's going to slow him down, make him an easier target to hit. We're going to go ahead and start turning towards the other battlecruiser. Make sure that we're turning out. That's also going to allow us to close the distance on this guy going right to left. We've done pretty well at keeping our speed up, too. I believe we're capable of 16.5 knots currently, which is plenty to do what I need to do. Get some more big hits on this battlecruiser. His buoyancy is dropping rather rapidly, which is nice. You can see the battleship off to my left, Vermont, sinking. Very nice. Come on, baby. We've almost got this guy sunk already. If we get another big hit here and some floods, he's done. And sure enough, we get even more floods. We got like 3 floods on that one. We knock out his engines. He can't even pump it out. Down he goes. Turning in, we're going to go hard to port. Avoid running into this Vermont, hopefully. We've got the heavy cruisers out to my left that we got to worry about. And we will be trying to counter them. But at the same time, we're going to be putting ourselves in position to get into a intercept course for this battlecruiser. Though, honestly, I don't think this battlecruiser's got much of a chance. We're already scoring hits. We're already getting some floods on him. Like, he's going to be in some real trouble. Now, you can see I'm already paying attention to these heavy cruisers. Like, I am worried about their torpedoes. I know they have them, and you can see after I check their torpedoes, I immediately turn in because the one guy had just fired his torpedoes. It was like once in a lifetime you get that perfect like time you look at something and you're like, oh my God, he just fired his torpedoes. Turn the ship. Now, I know that's not really realistic, but, you know, it's just one of those things that happens. It's a game. But, yeah, it was one of those perfect times. I look over and I'm like, oh my God, he just fired his torps. Turn now. Get out of the way. We don't want to get hit by a torpedo. Now, I am going broadside to their battlecruiser, which is not preferable, but at this point, the torpedoes are a much bigger threat than this guy's 15-inch guns. Remember, I have, 14 inches of belt armor? So he's going to struggle to get good penetrations on me. As you can clearly see, when he does hit me, he doesn't really do a whole lot of anything. But you can see I'm starting to get that tingling feeling. We know the torps are out here. We're looking for them. And they are off to my right side, I believe, getting detected. So we have dodged them. And we're back to shooting and looking at the battlecruiser over there. There's the torps finally getting spotted. Now that's crazy because I actually have like the best sonar that I can get in this thing. And the fact that those didn't get like lit up until just then is ridiculous. But, you know, we had already knew they were on their way, so no chance of getting hit by those. Now we look over again, and these guys have both launched their torps, so we're going to go for another full turn into port. And yes, that's going to open us up to the battlecruiser over there. But I'm hoping that it'll be okay. Again, the torps are my bigger threat at the moment. So we're keeping the guns trained on the battlecruiser. We don't want him to get away. We want to take him out as quickly as possible. And we've done a pretty decent job. We just need to get a couple decent hits here. Come on, Fuji. Don't fail us now. There we go. We got a flood. That's going to slow him down. We've got the guns on target and some big hits now. We're landing all the hits. That's what I like to see. Now, more torps are scooting past us. I believe I'm going to look over, check, and make sure that we're not going to take a torp. But you can see there is a loner torp over here on my left. We're in the gap, so it's not that big a deal. New Orleans goes down. And now we get to focus on the heavy cruisers. This one is about wrapped up, folks. Not going to lie. We're about to take these two down with a vengeance. These mans thinks it's okay to sit out here and launch torps at us all day. Well, we're going to show them just how angry we can get with our 16-inch guns over the bow. It's actually insane, I'm not going to lie. Like, the fact that we get these 16-inch guns is insane. And we're kind of firing them as two different salvos. So, like, we're firing the centerline guns on one salvo, and then we're firing the wing turrets on the other salvo. So we've kind of got 16-inch guns firing like every 30 seconds right now, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice, I'm not going to lie. But we're already scoring hits, finally. Gonna try to get rid of these guys quickly. And honestly, these cruiser armor, these heavy cruisers, cannot take hits very well. It's pretty impressive how quickly these guys get melted when they actually get hit. We saw it with the first one, but we're really going to see it with these guys. As we're missing our shells, unfortunately. But you can see I'm once again trying to catch them off guard. Like, they're trying to circle me, and I'm trying to aim ahead of them so that they're running into me rather than getting around me. And that's allowing us to close the distance. Sorry as I look away. We're going to slow it down. We've got torpedoes. You can see I'm looking. I know they're here. Where are they? Speed back up to 3 times speed. We know the torps are on the way, so we're just keeping an eye out for them. We don't want to take any torps. And we are turning away, so I think we're going to be okay from the torps. We have knocked out this guy's engines. That's going to limit his ability to pump out the water. Oh my god, that's a lot of torps. All right, turn in. Turn in harder. You can see I go hard to starboard. I need this ship to turn now. Please turn. I think we're definitely going to take the one on the bow again. And down goes Baltimore. That just leaves Washington. We took that torp on the bow, which isn't the worst thing because we've already taken a torp on the bow, so it's not a whole lot of damage that it can really do. It causes some flooding, but at the end of the day, we can handle the flooding no problem. And so that is like best case scenario. We don't lose our engines. We don't lose anything important. It's just eat it and keep trucking and close that gap. Get rid of these guys. And you can see it already. Like, Washington has already taken a big hit. He's lost half his buoyancy. He's going down quick. That shot was horrendous, but you can see he's not long for this world. He's actually down to about a third of his buoyancy at this point. We got a new salvo coming in, and it looks beautiful. Boom! Another flood, another big hit into the bow. Unfortunately, we keep getting the floods through the bow. We need to get some flooding towards the rear or mid of the ship to try to sink this man with flooding. You can only flood the same section of ship so much, you know what I'm saying? So, that's the main thing. You can see his bow is heavily, like, dragging into the water there. Definitely slowing him down quite a bit. Switch back over to our ship to get another look at the Fuji as it closes in on him. And another beautiful salvo. We got torpedoes spotted on our right. We look like we're going to be able to fit in the gap okay. We do have a torp coming towards the rear, so we're going to have to turn in. Try to suck in that rear if we can. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to dodge this one, though. It's going to be close. Actually, it's going to be real close. Torp beats, baby. Suck it. I am learning, guys. It's taken how long now? I've been doing this for over a year with these guys in the Taskmaster challenges, and I'm just now learning how to avoid torpedoes. Who'd have thunk it? We've had to dodge plenty of them, that's for sure. But as we finally catch up to this guy, we're at just about 12 kilometers from the man. Like, this is spitting range for our ship. This is like perfect range to absolutely obliterate this man. I say as we swing and miss. Come on, Fuji. End this man. Oh yeah, I forgot. Screenshot. Time to get that thumbnail, guys. and they immediately set me on fire. It's like they know that I'm doing a thumbnail. Like, really? Really? And then we get shot in the face. Nice. All right. Now that the formalities are done, let's go ahead and stop playing with your food, Fuji. Get rid of them. Wait for it. Oh, that's ugly. What was that shot? Seriously. That was ugly. In all the wrong ways. It's all right. We're about to get loaded again. Here they come. Here they come. That looks better. Ooh, a hit towards the rear, but no flood, unfortunately. Real unfortunate, too. Come on, that looks good. Ooh, that was a big hit and flooding. That may just do it. That may just do it. You can see I'm kind of pointing towards the front of the ship. We need to hit towards the mid. But we get another big hit, and there's the flood, or there's the sink from heavy flooding. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. We managed to sink them all. It was a torpedo fest, dodge fest, all the torpedoes. Sorry again about the lack of audio. I can't help it. But if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.